On Smart Arts this morning, we look at an aspect of drama we've never covered before on the show: fight choreography. The critically acclaimed Gosford Theatre Company production of Extremities is coming to the Hub, a new venue, the Hub at Erina. And up next, we catch up with the director, the actors and the fight coordinator. And we'll hear all about a level of fight choreography that is a little bit more realistic and believable than we are used to on the stage, or in some television shows that many of us watched when we were kids.
Surrender that gigantic pie. To the fray, my rascally restaurant! Well hit, madam.
A big part of good theatre and good drama is that suspension of disbelief. And when we see things on stage that really sometimes shock us, but we're invested in that action, it creates this experience that's hard to explain. But it'd be like, I guess, watching fair dinkum boxing and the World Championship wrestling, actors as opposed to people going at it. We don't want our actors hurt, and that's where fight choreography comes into drama. Gavin Critchley is well known as one of our great directors here on the Central Coast, always cutting edge, always stretching the boundaries of theatre, and he's found a show that's all about consent and sexual violence. It's a pretty heavy topic, but a very important show, particularly in light of what's been happening of late. Gavin, welcome to the studio.
Thanks, Scott.
And we have in the studio the two main actors, Daniel Asher-Smith and Samantha Windsor. Hi, Samantha. Hi, Daniel.
Hi.
And also the fight choreographer on the line too, who's heading to another job at the moment, Alex Jewson. Good morning, Alex.
Good day. How you doing?
Yes, going well. I think this is the first time we've ever had a fight choreographer on the program, on Smart Arts, our arts program. Tell us about your work in this field, because it's a fascinating field of theatre and film and television.
It is. It's a lot of fun. We usually consider our art to be the art of non-verbal dialogue. We spend a lot of time thinking about how characters' physicality informs their actions and informs what the audience feels about them on stage. So we spend a lot of time trying to help build that character and build that story using their physicality.
Right, and how did you come to this very niche role in theatre training?
I actually started many years ago now in the circus, and I was a circus performer for a few years, and then I gradually transitioned into doing more film and television work and became a stunt performer in Australia, and that sort of led me into a lot of that fight choreography and stuff. I was a martial artist before being a circus performer as well, but that sort of didn't come into play until a bit later.
What do you love about it? What is it that really keeps you going in this very rare form of drama training?
I love the creativity of building a character's physicality. I love getting to push my physical and mental limits in a lot of what I do. Whether I'm performing or choreography, I get to spend a lot of time thinking about how lots of different characters would react and act in different situations. So figuring out exactly what something means to a character based on their point of view. And sometimes you're dealing with characters that have lots of physical training, sometimes with very little physical training. And there's lots of interesting psychology and physicality in those characters.
And how important do you think it is to have a realistic portrayal of violence on the stage or the screen?
I think it's really a creative choice about the actual play or show. You don't always need it to be realistic. Sometimes unrealistic violence is more appropriate for what you're doing. Like, if you had lots of realistic violence in a kids show, for example, obviously that's going to be not very palatable to the audience. You don't want that. You actually want it to be a little bit more creative, a little bit funnier, a little bit unrealistic. Whereas some shows, you really want that realism. In some shows, the realism will help drive those characters and drive the point of the show. In some shows, it's not about that. It's about having more fun. Like, I mean, a lot of the old James Bond movies have fantastic action, but it's not realistic action, and it would be less interesting if it was.
And from a director's point of view, Gavin, what were you trying to achieve by enlisting Alex Jewson, the fight choreographer?
Well, specifically safety. That was the important thing here.
Right. Didn't want to kill the actors.
No. In every review that they've had of this show, there is always a credit for a fight coordinator. And it's very important because these two guys get very, very sort of close together, and there's a lot of realistic action happening. So it was very important that they were safe, that nobody was going to get hurt. And
how important is realism to this particular play?
Oh, very important, very important. I think it would almost be an insult to somebody that had been attacked if it was sort of dumbed down, softened up, because it's not what actually happens, and it's very important that the audience believe it. They really have to believe that this woman is not going to get away, and of course the rest of the play is very much dependent on what happens in that first scene.
Mm. And Alex, how has it been working with the players in the form of Daniel Asher-Smith and Samantha Windsor?
Yeah, these guys were both fantastic. I mean, they came from some really good backgrounds from our point of view. So one of the things you're always looking for is I guess, an element of physicality in your actors. And these guys have not only a little bit of actual stage combat training for one of them, but also some dance in their backgrounds, which makes it much easier for them to pick up choreography and take instruction, which is really, really handy for us. And in terms of, I guess, being on board with the process, these guys were fantastic. They really wanted to learn everything we were going through. I mean, they actually came up with a lot of what they had in mind. They came up with themselves, so they actually had quite a lot of it laid out before I got there. And all I did was help tweak, help provide them some alternatives to stuff, help make it a little bit safer, and help, I guess, give them some understanding about some of the things that we're doing and how they could make them both more realistic and more, I guess, impactful to the audience while maintaining that level of safety that we were going for.
Samantha and Daniel, has it been enjoyable? Have you enjoyed the process, or is it a bit scary sometimes?
Oh no, extremely. I think it was. It's been very, very enjoyable. Yeah, I've just found it really fun and exciting, and
you're not supposed to be looking like you're having fun though when you're being bashed up and throttled and
no. It's also really challenging, but having that training with Alex was really, really good because I've done a few classes in stage combat, and it's great to be able to put those skills into a show.
What about that realism as actors? Does it help with the performance?
Yes, it really does, and it's quite difficult to stay in performance mode, knowing what you're doing, and that at the core it's not something that you're comfortable with and that you don't agree with, but having to commit to something like that is quite intense, and there are times when you will be, I mean, I'm not sure about Sam, but there are times when you'll be doing the scene and you'll just be wanting to stop and check if the other person is okay.
What sort of things do you do? What sort of things are happening on stage without giving too much away?
Well, without giving too much away, there's
like
I don't know what to say without.
Around.
Yeah, there's a lot of throwing around and there's sort of grabbing of throats, hair and other things.
And how's Alex helped you to use techniques in those sorts of? So I guess, as you say, it is choreography, isn't it? It's like a dance break in a musical. It's quite physical, and then you've got to go back to act or
Make
dialogue.
it
Yeah,
it is like, it's very much like a dance when I watch these two. It's like watching those samurai dances where they use real swords and they're getting really close to each other, and the audience is going, oh, how are they not getting hurt? And I'm even amazed by.
So it's just repetition. So
Absolutely.
everything works without you actually punching each other in the face.
Yes.
And a lot of like trust, I guess.
Yeah. Wow.
That's a big part of it.
And how has it come together from the very first go with the fight choreographer to now, just before Curtain Up?
Well, first of all, Alex was extremely valuable. Extremely.
Yeah.
He just took it to a whole new level. And like you said, we had a base, but he brought in a huge amount of layers and
Ideas.
Yeah, ideas. Lots of ideas.
Do you go
avenues
slow, then slowly speed up the action? Do you?
Yeah, it's something. Yeah, very. Yeah, I'd say that's how it kind of works. There is a build, and then it drops off, and then it builds up again, and there's different levels.
Of intensity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stages are hard though too, aren't they? I mean, when you're thrown down on the ground and such, all those techniques.
We have a rug.
Oh, good. Okay.
Well, there's never, as Alex has shown us through showing us with the safety aspects of those things. Sam is actually in control of a lot of the actions that we do. My hands might be physically on her body, but my weight and my force and all my energy is held back by myself, and Sam is in control of everything that's usually happening.
So is that a technique? Is that something that's is well known in fight choreography, that sort of technique?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I haven't really done that much of it. But yeah, as Alex was saying, whoever's being attacked is in control of it the whole time, and then you just make it look like.
Sure, that's what it's about. Yeah, look, I can't wait to see it on stage, and obviously it's a great thing to have on an actor's CV, this level of professionalism. Alex Jewson, thanks for joining us too, by the way. I know you're in transit there this morning.
That's all right. It was a pleasure.
And it did come through well from the M4. Great to talk to you.
No problem. Thank you very much.
And what are they, just finally, what are they like as actors to work with?
They were fantastic. They were great. All you can ask for is a level of physicality and enthusiasm, and they've got both in spades. So
now we'll find out. The show's opening very soon. Gavin will give us the details, but should we say break a leg or not in your game?
We don't tend to as stunties, but in theatre they often do, so by all means.
Alex Jewson, fight choreographer, thank you for sparing some of your precious time with us.
Not a problem.
Interesting guy. What a niche to find employment in. Gavin, where and when for this very important piece of drama, particularly in the light of the Me Too movement and consent matters and all the other issues that currently society is trying to fight against?
Absolutely. Well, we're on next Friday, actually, open on the 13th of July down at the Hub Performance Space at Erina. Which is right next to the library, in case you don't know where it is.
Erina Fair.
Yes, it's often used for youth musical events and that. There's been a bit of theatre there before, but we're going to turn this into a theatre and into a living room, and where all this occurs. And it's right there in front of you. Raised seating, though, which is really good.
And Samantha, make sure to, when the curtain call comes, to smile and show everyone you're not hurt, because it sounds like you've really done a great deal of work on this to make it really believable, and as I said, suspending belief is a really important part of theatre, and to get a message across, and a powerful message, I believe, in this show.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, good luck. I won't say break a leg. Thank you, Samantha Windsor. Thank you, Daniel Asher-Smith. Good luck next Friday night with the opening of the show Extremities.
Thank you very much.
That's the Gosford Theatre Company. Gavin Critchley, thanks for your time too.
Thanks, Guy.